This is your host, Danny, and this is Common Mistakes from English Plus Podcast. In our Common Mistakes episode for today, I'm going to talk about common mistakes we make using the word lack. Let me start with a couple of examples. At school, I used to lack in confidence. She certainly doesn't lack of enthusiasm. What's wrong with that? Well, obviously there's something wrong. Do not confuse lack something, which is a verb and an object, use that without in or of, with be lacking in something or a lack of something. These expressions are different. To be lacking in something, that is an expression in the continuous, or a lack of something, that is a noun. I'll give you some examples. He lacks the confidence to start his own business. He lacks the confidence. That's a verb, object, nothing. No in, no of. But if we say, for example, be lacking, we can use in. We can say, at school, he was found to be lacking in confidence. If you want to use it in this expression, it's fine to use. Actually, you should use in. Or, she certainly doesn't show any lack of confidence. That's a noun. Here, we're not using lack as a verb. So if you want to use it as a noun, you have to use of, lack of confidence. Or, I think I'm suffering from a lack of sleep. So armed with this knowledge, let's get back to the sentences I just gave you and let's fix them. And the fix is very easy. You just get rid of in and of, because these two sentences use the first pattern I told you about, verb plus object, no in, no of. So instead of saying at school I used to lack in confidence, we should say at school I used to lack confidence, no in. And the second example is just the same. We don't use of. She certainly doesn't lack of enthusiasm is wrong. We should say, she certainly doesn't lack enthusiasm, without of. Now let me give you a couple of more examples. The room was fine except for a total lack of radio and television. Or, someone noticed the lack of salad dressing. Well, what's wrong with that? We just said that lack as a noun, we use of, and that's fine, right? So this should be okay. Shouldn't be a problem. The lack, total lack, or the lack of salad dressing, we're talking about lack as a noun here, so we can use of. No, we can't, because here the use of lack is a different story. Now, lack is mainly used with abstract nouns. A lack of support, a lack of sympathy, freedom, sleep, energy. But we don't usually use lack with concrete nouns. We don't say, for example, we have a lack of envelopes. We don't do that. We don't say that. We just say we don't have any envelopes, or we don't have enough envelopes. We can say we're short of envelopes. There aren't enough envelopes, as I told you, but not we have a lack of envelopes. With concrete nouns, don't use lack. Lack is mainly used with abstract nouns. Abstract nouns talking about ideas, things you can't touch. But concrete, like envelopes, something you can touch, we don't use lack. We can say we don't have any, or we don't have enough, or we're short of. All right? So coming back to these two examples, what are we talking about? We're talking about radio and television. That's something concrete. So we don't usually use lack with concrete nouns. Instead of saying the room was fine except for a total lack of radio and television, we simply say the room was fine except that there was no radio or television. And in the second one, we're talking about salad dressing, and also that is a concrete noun. So we don't use lack with a concrete noun. Instead of saying someone noticed the lack of salad dressing, we simply say someone noticed that there wasn't any salad dressing. Or maybe there wasn't enough. If there was some but not enough, but not lack. Don't use lack with concrete nouns. So I hope you found that useful, because that's everything I wanted to share with you about the common mistakes we make with lack. Another day, another common mistake. This is your host, Danny. Thank you very much for listening to another Common Mistakes episode from English Plus Podcast. I'll see you next time.